Pretty new on this reactor journey. I've only been doing this for a few months, and I'm grateful for the response. This has been a lot of fun having the channel grow so much. And one of my subscribers said, you know, Tim, you haven't gone into the world of the Swifties yet. You haven't done any Taylor Swift reacting. And it's true, I haven't. And I'm excited to do that. And what I'm finding with this channel is that I really enjoy reacting to unique vocals, interesting performances, live vocals where I can really break down the technical aspects of what a singer is doing so that you can enjoy the singer more. And so I haven't been exactly sure where to start with Taylor Swift since she has such a huge discography. And I thought, what better place to start than to start with a compilation of what somebody feels are her best vocals ever. This will give me a chance to just go through a little bit of a sampler platter of some of the vocal techniques she's done over the years in her singing. I've been a vocal instructor for a long time, and I've had students over the years sing some Taylor Swift stuff, but not so much in the last decade or so. I used to have a lot of Taylor Swift songs sung in my studio when I was first starting off over 20 years ago. Everybody wanted to sing that song, Love Story. I was working with a lot of young female singers at the time, and everybody wanted to sing Taylor Swift. Lately, I have been working with artists that haven't been interested in singing her stuff as much. But in this channel, I'm very excited to celebrate great singing, and I know there are lots of people that love Taylor Swift, so I'm going to dive deep as a vocal instructor, and we're going to get started right now. My name's Tim. I'm a professional vocal coach. I've been breaking down singing for people for almost a quarter of a century. This is my life's work. I love it so much. This is my website if you want to find out more about me and my amazing team of teachers. I teach outside of the Manhattan tri-state area. We do lessons in person here, but we do lessons globally online. So hit us up for lessons if you want. All right. Without further ado, it's time to get into Taylor Swift. This is my first time reacting to Taylor. I'm super excited about it. And admittedly, I haven't listened to very much of her music in the last decade or so. So it's going to open up a whole new world of things I can listen to. Okay, here we go.
You never loved me or her or anyone or anything. It's a shame I'm leaving. Took me to places I've never been till you put me down. I know. Exhausting, you know, like we are never getting back together, like ever. No, we are never ever getting back together. We are never ever getting back together. Loving him was a ooh, losing him was blue like I never know. Missing him was said it's too late to apologize. It's too late. He said it's too late to apologize. It's too late. But this is me swallowing my pride, standing in front of you, saying I'm sorry for that night. Come back and tell me why I'm feeling like I missed you all this time. I need me there tonight, and let me know that it's not all in my mind. 'Cause I just wanna know, you better know, you better know, you better now. And I just wanna know you, I know you, I know you.
All right, that very interesting. Wow. First off, I have to say this feels a bit like mostly older stuff of Taylor Swift's. I was clicking around a little bit looking for some things of hers that I wanted to react to, and one of the things that I'm definitely going to react to coming up is her performance with Florence and the Machine, where she's singing with her. I feel like she definitely had a lot of mature, more depth of tone in her singing, and just a couple little clicks on the song Florida that she does with Florence and the Machine. And it's interesting because this is definitely sounding like a younger voice than the sounds that I heard in her Florida recording that I just clicked on a minute ago. So I'm excited to get deeper into her current stuff too. But I do have to say, this was a really good video. This was interesting to see a cross section of her vocal technique over the last decade or decades or so. And really, really cool. I'm going to go back right now and break down some of the vocal technical things that I hear her doing from song to song. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on here, especially at the end. What I was noticing was, and I was a little surprised by, was how punky she sounds sometimes. I didn't realize she got so punky. I don't know a lot of her discography, so this was really an interesting little cross section of some of her sounds. Some of the things I knew, a lot of the things I didn't know. So I can't wait to break down technically what she's doing vocally here for you all, just to explain what's going on, what makes it so unique, some of the things she's doing, and also some other just general things about her tone. All right, let's go back. All right, so you hear all that flipping. That's something I was talking about a lot in my Chapel Roan reactions, that little yodel flip thing. Taylor Swift does that really well. She's been mastering that technique since the early days of her singing. It's such an effortless thing in her singing, and it's something that's pretty hard to do. The higher you get in your chest voice, the harder it is to accurately flip and then flip back into that sound. She's a master of that. She has a really bright forward placement in this singing right here, and she's just flipping so effortlessly. What I love about her singing all the way through her lineage is that she sings very healthy. She sings with a very efficient vocal production, and this is definitely what she's doing here. Listen for that flipping a little bit in her singing right here.
Keep your feet ready, hot, be steady, keep
Right there.
your eyes open, keep your locked the night.
She's got a nice brass to her tone in her chest voicey parts, and then she flips up into her mix, into her head voice, and back and forth so seamlessly. I like the little she's doing little false chord activation, compression at the starts of phrases to give it a little bit of that youthful angst. Very good vocal technique here. It's solid. Her pitch accuracy is great. She seems emotive and connected to the text. It's not a very gritty sound, and that's something that she doesn't do a lot of. She's not super gritty. I'm a vocal instructor that, even though my background is in opera, I've done a lot of musical theater, I've done pretty much every genre of singing you can think about, both in my own experience and teaching it. I'd say lately, though, I've been specializing a lot in teaching grit, and she's not a very gritty singer, and that's okay. You know, she communicates and is expressive, and she does vary her grit to some degree, but I wouldn't put her in the category of like an especially gritty singer. Let's keep listening. Notice how she opens her mouth more on the big belt notes. Very good vocal technique. That's what you're supposed to do. Very good. Look at this belt. This is a great belt here. And you'll notice her head position. Notice how she's leaning back. This is a head posture and a head position that's very common for when you're belting. You need to get your head back. You need to get your mouth open. You have to get your tongue away from the roof of your mouth to make sure that you have that right configuration to extend your belt a little higher. If your head position is too low and your tongue gets too close to the roof of your mouth, it forces you into your mix more. This is very, very good vocal technique here. Good job, Taylor. Yeah. Woo. All right, do you notice how long she held that? She did that because she had excellent vocal fold closure, or adduction of the vocal folds, if you want to nerd out with me on voice pedagogy. That's why you're able to hold a note so long when you belt it. Even though there's a lot of air pressure into the instrument, there's not a lot of air coming out of the body. You're creating a highly pressurized environment, but you're not letting a lot of air out through the instrument. That's incredible breath control. That is absolutely a great belted high note. Good job, Taylor. Woo! By the way, I love that dancing she was doing on stage there at the end. She's just like wild and being loose and free. I love that sense of just complete abandon she had. I want to watch that again. Here we go. I love that. All right, this song I know. This was from the Hunger Games back in the day. I think it was Hunger Games, right? Yeah, oh my God. This was, I remember when this duet came out, I had a few students that wanted to work on this one. This was gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Notice her use of auditory roughness in this singing here. Auditory roughness is that it's that hissy air sound that adds this like lo-fi fuzz and warmth to singing. Billie Eilish right now is a master of that sound. Taylor Swift, this was back in 2012 when she was doing this. And this sound is very similar to what we are hearing from like Billie Eilish, Nessa Barrett, Lana Del Rey, this kind of minimal micro singing. Taylor Swift might have been a pioneer of that. Of course, we can look back in the day. There are singers back, even in the 70s and 60s, that did some of that micro singing. You know, I think about Peggy Lee, Fever. I think about Joan Baez, Carly Simon. These are singers who did have a lot of that minimal stuff as well. But Taylor Swift here is doing it beautifully. Notice how it's just a warm, airflowy sound. There's little creaky sounds here and there that she's getting through grit. She's transitioning seamlessly up and down in her voice, and she's got some brass and chest voice she's bringing into her sound, but this is mostly a light airflowy sound that she's using here on Safe and Sound. Beautiful song. That's a mix right there. There's a mix of the brassiness in her tone and a mix of the windiness. The brassiness is the chest voice. The windiness is like, let's call that like a head voice. Beautiful. Did you hear that? That's really hard to do. I remember you. She starts off in her head voice. She switches down into her brassy chest voice for a second at a high pitch range. It's harder to do that at a high pitch range. And then she flips back up into her head voice again. Listen to that coordination right there. This is really hard singing. She's making it seem effortless. Right here. You hear that? Head voice, chest, back to head voice. Taylor, wow. Lots of coordination, lots of registration. She's really good at working the brass in her voice, the wind in her voice, switching back and forth between those in an expressive way, adding a teeny weeny little bit of grit on the entrances and exits of her phrases. So delicate, so thoughtful. Did you hear that little grit on? I love that. I love that. I love that. Let me hear her do that again. Right here. Hear that? So that little, that was vocal fry. When you're adding grit to your voice, there's two ways to go about it. You can do it with vocal fry or you can do it with false chord compression. Vocal fry we make at the vocal fold level, and it feels like a bottom-up sensation to the singer. Hear that? It's like a gurgly, low, creaky door type of a sound. False chord activation is caused by cinching the pharynx, which is slightly above the larynx. There's a little cinching you do in there, and you're bringing these mucosal membranes into vibration in your throat after the vocal fold. So when you do false chord grit, you're not actually using the vocal cords themselves to create the grit sound. It happens later in the vocal chain, and that's this sound. And for the singer, that feeling is a little bit more of a higher up in the back of the throat type of a sensation than vocal fry. Listen to her using vocal fry here. That's vocal fry. Hear that? It's interesting, she's not using hardly any vibrato at all in any of these examples. If you don't know what vibrato is that that little wiggle up and down in pitch that you hear a lot of times with pop singers at the end of long-held notes and phrases. Opera singers do it almost on every note. She's not using that much of it here. It's a very clean exit. She uses a lot of straight tone, which is the opposite of vibrato in her singing. Notice that here.
Comes creeping.
See?
That you never loved me or hurt or anyone or anything.
There's that head position again, that tilt back. Some of you may have seen one of my reactions to Billie Eilish. I reacted to the song The Greatest, and Billie really tilted her head back, and there were lots of people that were kind of criticizing her a little bit for it. It's a part of vocal technique. Tipping your head back is important. You got to do it to some degree. Now, there is a line in the sand on how far you do it, but you know, Taylor Swift's doing it really nicely here. This is an important part of her vocal technique. What's interesting about this example here and some of these next ones coming up is how punky she sounds. She's got a lot of punk in her voice. Reminds me of Paramore a little bit. Listen to that.
Anyone or anything.
Yeah. Hear that? Do you hear that bite in her voice, that brass? She's got a lot of clean vocal fold closure, a lot of air pressure. She's making her mouth very lateral, which makes those vowels brighter and brattier, and she's pressing into it. That's how she's getting that tone. Funny, this is back in the day when everybody was starting to use that wobble bass. Whoa, 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 whoa. Remember that song, Too Close by Alex Clare? I used to love that song. Feels like I am just too close to love you. Remember that song? They used to have a really cool wobble bass in there, and that was about the time that wobble bass was hitting the scene with Skrillex and all that stuff. So it's fun to hear her using some wobble bass here in this track. Hear that wobble bass? So these are recordings from like 13 years ago at this point. I'm shooting this video in 2024. This is 2011. So her vocals have changed a lot over the last decade, and I know that. And I'm going to be doing some reacting to some of her current stuff too. I just thought this was a fun place to start. Again, this one's pretty much in that punky, clean, brassy belt. Not a lot of grit on the belt. Very focused, resonant, very in tune. Her intonation in her singing, which is her pitch accuracy, is spectacular. Very punky, very emotional. Such a healthy vocal technique for that type of singing. Notice she's not fighting her voice. She's not overly muscling her voice. This is why she's still singing now. And when she was singing big pop stuff decades ago, she has just a great ability to not overuse her voice in unhealthy technical ways. I'm really impressed, Taylor.
Baby, like this, I thought I had you figured out.
He calls me up and he's like, I still love you. And I'm like, I mean, this is exhausting, you know, like we are never getting back together. Like ever. No! We are never, ever getting back together.
She has great access to her upper chest contemporary register. Those are like the money notes, the notes that you need to have access to if you're going to sing the Star Spangled Banner well, or any Celine Dion cover. I'm impressed. I didn't realize that Taylor had that much fluency in her upper belt where she can just hammer away up there. It's really, really good. There's not a ton of like texture to the tone like you might hear with Kelly Clarkson singing in that register, or Carrie Underwood or Christina Aguilera or someone like that. But it's such a clean, healthy, powerful, appropriate sound for what she's doing. That would be the big difference, I would say, between some of those singers, between her and the other like pop divas. She has a much cleaner sound. And the cleanliness of her tone comes from the lack of use of like false chord activation stuff. Hey, Taylor, if you want to study some voice and work on grit singing, I'm here. I'd be happy to do it. Just next time you're in Manhattan, let's go. Her voice is really high. Relative to a lot of other female pop singers, she has a very high voice. Having a really high voice helps you have longevity because it's not costing her as much to sing up in this high register as it may be for a lower type of a voice, like a Pink or like a Kelly Clarkson or something like that. It takes more energy for a voice of that weight to sit up here. Her voice is higher, so she can sit more efficiently in these top registers of her voice. But you will notice in some of her current stuff that she does have more depth of tone. As we age, our voice naturally takes on more depth. It doesn't mean that we have to necessarily lose our upper register notes, but we do usually take on more depth in our tone as we are an aging artist. That's like clean, bright, forward, a little more country twang in this one here. Not full country, but a little more leaning in that direction.
'Cause loving him was right. And then he said it's too late to apologize.
Oh yeah, this was a Timberland cover from back in the day. Yeah, this one's 14 years ago.
It's too late.
See, she's in a head mix right there. A little bit of chest in that tone, but mostly a head mix. Now, this song, I do want a little more grit, a little more angst. I feel like maybe it would have been better up a higher key in her voice. Whenever you're doing covers of male singers, you typically want to make the key in your range of your voice, where your voice gets powerful if you're a female singer, because male keys, they're set to the male singer so that the pitch range is sitting in a powerful range of the male singer's voice. And as a female singer, your power range is in a little different pitch range, so you have to change the key a lot of times to keep the same intensity of expression in your voice as the male singer had. I feel she's a little bit low here to keep this song exciting.
Then he said it's too late to apologize.
Like I would have liked her too late to I like her up in that pitch range a little bit more.
It's too late. He said it's too late to apologize. It's too late. But this is me swallowing my.
Yeah, I want more angst on this one. I want a little more bite in the tone. This one isn't working for me as much. Although she's in tune, she's making a nice sound. I just want more. I want more grit. I want more angst. I want it higher in her voice. I want more intensity to it.
Right standing in front of you saying I'm sorry for that night.
Yeah, it was good. It was solid. I give it an 8 out of 10. It's not the best thing she's done on this video.
Come back and tell me why.
Now this is good. Do you hear how bright and brassy she is, and then she's flipping up and down here?
I'm feeling like I missed you all this time.
That flipping back and forth is really hard to do. I work on it with students all the time. It's super hard. She's great. She's a master of it.
I need me there tonight. Let me know that it's not all in my mind.
I feel like there could be a little better blend of the vocals here. Maybe Ed Sheeran could make his voice a little pointier and brassier, or Taylor could be warming it up a little bit. I feel like she's cutting right through Ed so much that they're almost not tone quality wise synchronized very well here. They both sound good, but they're just almost like two independent people singing.
Cause I just wanna know you better know you
I wish they were looking at each other when they were doing this duet and singing into each other.
better know you better now. And I just wanna know you.
Oh, her flipping and then coming back into her chest voice. Complete master of that. A master. Again, try it. If you are a singer, it's super hard to do.
I know you.
Wow. Okay. All right. That was a really fun first jump into reacting to Taylor Swift. I got a little sampler platter of some of her singing over the years. Admittedly, this isn't into her newer stuff. I'm going to get into that too. I think maybe the next thing I'm going to react to is Florida with Florence and the Machine and her singing. I think that there could be some interesting stuff in there. If you have any other Taylor Swift recommendations that you'd like me to check out, please let me know. If you're a Swiftie, hi, welcome to my channel. Go ahead and check out some of the other reactions I've done. There's some amazing vocals I've already reacted to as well. So if you're a Swiftie, I welcome you to the channel. I'm just starting off this journey, so there's lots more Taylor to come. I appreciate connecting with you all. Thanks for watching this to the end. If you like what I'm talking about here, subscribe, click the little notification to stay up to date on my latest stuff. I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.